So, you've probably seen the headlines, or at least heard the chatter online. Is physics in a crisis? It's a huge question, and it gets thrown around a lot. But what if? What if that's not even the right question to be asking?
Well, check out this perspective. Whenever people say there is a physics crisis, beware of the money game. Whoa, okay, so let's reframe this whole thing. What if all this talk about a crisis has nothing to do with the actual science? The argument we're digging into today says that when you hear physics crisis, your mind should immediately jump to the money game. That kind of changes everything, doesn't it?
All right, so let's do that. Let's follow the money. Because the argument here is that the real story isn't about some sudden shortage of brilliant ideas. Not at all. It's about a much deeper, more, well, human problem. It's about the sociology and the funding systems that are supposed to be helping science move forward. And to be super clear here, the point is not that physics has run out of ideas. I mean, far from it. The field is buzzing with them. The real problem, the bottleneck, is actually making progress. It's about how incredibly hard the current system makes it for new, maybe even world-changing ideas to just get heard, to get the traction they deserve. And this really gets to the heart of the conflict, right? It's like a tale of two different worlds. In one corner, you've got physics as it should be, this epic battlefield of ideas where everyone is just wrestling to find the truth. But in the other corner, you have what it's become, or at least how it's being described here. A system that's more about building consensus and, you guessed it, distributing money. It's a pretty stark contrast when you lay it out like that. And that leads us to the real gut punch of the argument. It goes beyond just money. It's about what the system actually values. Is it the raw power of an idea, or is it the credentials of the person who came up with it?
So here's a question for you to chew on. When you see a new, really challenging idea get shot down, is the pushback really about the physics? Is it a genuine scientific debate? Or is something else going on entirely?
And these are the kinds of arguments we're talking about. The ones that aren't actually about physics at all. Things like, oh, they're just amateurs, or their communication isn't up to standard, or the classic, they don't have the right title or position. You see the pattern, right? None of that has anything to do with the science itself. It's all about pedigree, about gatekeeping. It's not about the merit of the idea. Which brings us to what should be the golden rule, the absolute foundation of all science. It's so simple, but so powerful. It is way, way better to judge ideas on what they are rather than who had the idea. And look, if you need any proof that this principle is not just a nice thought, but is actually essential for making those huge leaps forward, well, there is one perfect historical case study. Let's call it the Einstein test. So what is the ultimate proof of this principle? The one case that just slams the point home beyond any doubt? Yep, Albert Einstein. We all know the name, obviously, but it's the context of his biggest breakthroughs that makes him the absolute perfect example for this argument. Because here's the thing we sometimes forget. The fact that Einstein had his best, most revolutionary ideas when he was still a relatively unknown patent clerk, that's a massive testament to the ideas themselves, not to his fame or his personality. His work on special relativity, the photoelectric effect, all of that stood on its own merit, long before Einstein became the household name for genius. Okay, so let's zoom out. What's really at stake here when we talk about this? What does this whole dynamic, this battle between ideas and credentials, mean for the future of science? Look, we all believe the scientific process will figure out the truth in the long run. It's designed to be self-correcting. But here's the catch. The long run can be really, really long. Sometimes it's so long that it's after the people with the great ideas are long gone. And that's the real cost, right? It's not just an academic debate. It's a real delay in human progress. It affects all of us. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways here. First, maybe this whole physics crisis thing is actually a story about sociology and money. Second, and this is huge, ideas should always, always be judged on their merit, not on someone's credentials. And that leads to the third point. Simple questions, even from people without a fancy title, should never, ever be ignored. And to leave you with one of those very simple but very deep questions. What is the definition of infinity? And is it a good definition? It's the perfect kind of question to end on because it reminds us that real progress doesn't always start with some super complex answer. A lot of the time, it starts with just having the courage to question the things we think we already know.